What's up, travelers? Prince Nick's coming to you from the Cineverse. I actually thought I'd do this lead-in to kind of talk about or give a little background on this video I'm about to do now. This week, I probably had the most hiccups ever I've had doing a video, and I wanted to give this little lead-in just to kind of talk about some of the things that happened in this video. Now, one thing that happened in this video is, firstly, I'll say the audio's messed up, but that was just the last problem in a list of problems. For example, this week I was supposed to take a trip out to New York, and at the last minute that actually fell through, so I had to scramble to get a new location and set everything up so I could get ready to shoot. So when I got out there, everything's going according to plan, everything's going pretty normal, and then right in the middle of the shoot, I get interrupted before I get all the shots because it starts raining. The rain, it's messing up everything. Now, in this video, one of the topics in this video, or the topic I'm talking about in this video, is the idea of chasing perfection. So I thought at first, the first thing I thought when I found out, lastly, that the audio had got completely messed up for the video is, my first thought was, and my first reaction was to not actually put it out. I said, you know, it's not perfect, I'm not gonna put it out, but that's actually what I'm talking about in the video, is the idea of chasing perfection, and needing things to be perfect is hindering us from putting things out. Now, I took it instead and said, you know, I'll use this as an opportunity to illustrate the point even further, that we need to take the time to not chase perfection so much and just put things out, because I could put this video out and maybe you'll hate it and maybe you'll love it, but I'm putting it out to illustrate the point, because as I go through these things, as I go through these struggles, I want to show that it's not about being perfect all the time, because everybody messes up, everybody makes mistakes, but it's how you respond to those mistakes. And I think this is a rare opportunity, or an opportunity that I shouldn't miss, to show that taking every mistake or taking every failure or whatever you want to call it and using that as an opportunity to reframe it into something different. So that's the opportunity I'm taking here. So I'm about to put the video up here in a second. I just want you to keep in mind the audio may not be up to the usual quality or the usual standard, but I'm using this as an opportunity to show the point that don't worry about chasing perfection. So next week, audio will be ready. I learned a lesson from this, to make sure I check the audio thoroughly each time I'm recording so I don't miss anything. And maybe it was better that it happened this way, because I learned the lesson, and now moving forward, that lesson will carry on to everything I do from this point on. So appreciate you for watching. Always like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. What's up, travelers? Prince Nick's coming to you from the Cineverse. I'm out here at McGovern Centennial Gardens in Houston, Texas. And what I want to talk about with you today is the idea of chasing perfection. Now, I know what you're thinking on the surface. What could be possibly wrong with chasing perfection? Because you want everything in your business or in life to be perfect, right? Now, today I want to talk about some of the reasons why we actually chase perfection, how this can be actually a detriment to your business, and how we can get around it. So let's get right into it. So to start this off, let me ask you, what's the ideal job? What's the ideal phone? What's the ideal car? What's the ideal vacation? What for you really fulfills you? Now, the reason I ask that is because you probably got a mental picture in your mind when I said that. Now, with saying that, we all have a different perception of what perfection is. Take the example with the iPhone or something like that. You may say the iPhone is the greatest phone there is. I may think Android is the greatest phone there is, but both of us have our own perception of what perfection is. So how does this manifest in things like, say, art, or even in business? So say if you ever dealt with an artist, you know, they go through these massive periods of insecurity about their art, where they're making art and they're doing the art, and you look at it and they say, you know, it's not perfect. I don't want to put it out because it's not absolutely perfect. And you may walk in the same room, look at that art and say, it looks just fine to me, or it looks perfect to me. On the other end, you might see something that's more abstract, and people splattered stuff on the wall, and it looks a little weird to you, and you may say, doesn't look like art at all. But then you see somebody who's maybe an art critic, and they love it, they talk about it, they say, it's more of an abstract piece, it's about emotions, it's about how everything's built up in it, and you're sitting there saying, well, maybe I just don't understand it. But neither one of these opinions are wrong, they're just a matter of perspective. And with them being a matter of perspective, this is where you get the idea of chasing perfection being a fallacy you built up in your mind. Because what is perfection? Think about this. What really is perfection? Who are you chasing perfection for? Now, let's say in a business, you have a product, and putting out this product, you need it to be out by a certain deadline. Now you do everything that you can, you do your due diligence, you look over everything, you do all your market research, you do everything in your power to make sure that this product comes out and the product is at the highest level of quality. So assuming it's at the highest level of quality, you look at it, you see one small thing and you say, you know what, it's not absolutely perfect. Let me push this back. Now, by pushing this back, what have you done? You raise the fees, the cost, and everything to put it out. Maybe that'll work one, maybe even 2 times, but what happens is you keep pushing it back, and ultimately it never comes out because you were chasing perfection. So let's talk about perfection. Let's think about this. Who are you chasing perfection for? Is it your own level of perfection? There's one thing that's true about all of us as human beings is that anything we do consistently over and over and over again, or anything we persist at, we get better at. So if you play an instrument, for example, you say you played an instrument when you were 5 years old. When you first started, you may have got to a certain level where you played your first song, and you might have thought that song was perfect. But think about you playing that song maybe a year from now, or maybe 5 months from now, or even 10 years in the future. What you'll find is that your level of perfect or your level of perfection has drastically changed. So when you think about chasing perfection for yourself, there's no real way to look at perfection for yourself because it's going to be constantly changing. Well, let's look at somebody else. What about somebody else's level of perfection? What if I'm chasing perfection for the next person? Let's take like this video. I might put this video out, and I might not even like it, but then I see somebody and they say, no, that video came out perfect to me. Now, there's no way for me to look at anybody else and say what they feel is perfect or what might be perfect. All I can do is put something out and try to judge afterwards. One of the biggest things people find a problem with in business is putting things out and trying to anticipate all the complaints, all the possible objections or the possible problems before actually putting something out. And what really you have to do is put something out and then respond to the stuff that comes later. A lot of times in marketing, what they talk about is marketing is actually a conversation. You're starting a conversation with your client, with your customer. You're starting to get feedback from them, and that's what ultimately allows you to make a high-level product. You take a big corporation, say like Disney or QVC or one of those big companies that's lasted hundreds of years and maybe definitely longer than I've been alive, and how did they do that? Where does that come from? It's not from them guessing what their customers want. They took time to start a conversation with the customers and respond to them and add massive amounts of value. But you can't do that if you're worrying about chasing perfection beforehand. So what's the point I'm making here? What I'm saying basically is that perfection, much like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. So when I consult with people, this is probably one of the biggest things. They want things to be absolutely perfect. And I tell them all the time, there's no way to really look at something and let it be perfect. Just like this video here, people walk by, people talk to me while I'm talking on camera, which you respond to. You guys talking to me over there. And sometimes I might look off or I might look over there, but that adds a layer of authenticity to the video, in my opinion. Now, that's just my opinion. That may not make the video perfect, but every video is going to get better. And with each video getting better, there's never a true gauge of what perfection is. I can only go off the last video I did, and every video get better and better and better by repetition. But if you're waiting for perfection, let's say going back to the iPhone example, you would wait for the iPhone 6, but Android would have massively taken over the market share because they would have never put out their first product. Now, by them putting out iPhone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, they ultimately put out the best product or a better product by making iterations because things change, markets change, new manufacturing comes along, a bunch of different things come along to make things better. Now, with things getting better, you're going to learn new things, you're going to build new things, you're going to find new things, and that's what's going to allow you to make your vision ultimately perfect. So it actually started raining in the middle of me shooting, and I think this is an excellent time to illustrate the point of how you can't really search for perfection because things can sometimes get a little messy. A good book that talks about this is The Linchpin. Seth Godin talks about the idea of shipping things. You have to be able to ship things. So you work on things hard as you can, and you just put them out there to see if they work. You can't really know. He says that you have to be an all artists, in order to be great, they have to ship. That's one thing that all artists have in common is that they ship. So you take something like this, I could look at not being able to get every shot that I wanted because it started raining and ultimately not put that out. But now seeing that this is maybe even a better opportunity to illustrate the point, I used this and used it to my ultimate advantage to show you the idea of things not needing to be perfect. Where did it come from? So I hope that video was helpful to you. As usual, if you want to hear me discuss any topics on this video blog, leave me a comment below or send a link to this email. Also, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.